that's just probably as a reference point. Special meetings shall be the same or as regular meetings, except that no minutes of any meeting shall be finally approved except at a regular meeting. So I'm just going to go to the things I have highlighted for city clerk. Custodian funds. Custodian of all funds withheld from the compensation of office and employees and of appropriated funds, contribution to the city. This is, I get, so really that's not anything that you would be involved in. I put a no next to that. Registration books. This I didn't know about. On the day immediately following an election, the city clerk shall open the registration books of the city at City Hall. Any person entitled under Section 17 of the city charter to the right of the franchise shall be entitled to register by taking the required oath.
So if we ran our own elections, I would be doing that.
Oh, okay.
Clay County facilitates that.
Okay, so it's really not applicable.
Not currently, not unless y'all change it and decide to run your own elections.
Right, and
No.
so Clay County handles. Gotcha.
I don't think we do.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
This is what you sent me, and I think you
And
sent.
you have it right there a little
Right,
bigger, yes.
Right. These were all checked out with the charter, right? These are all the
Those
duties
all
that
went through
matched.
Rich Commando before I ever sent it to y'all.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is pretty much
That's
everything.
what I could pull out. The only thing that I don't think is on there that I also do is the Revo cards. You know, the white cards that give you access in and out of the buildings. I also run Revo,
Mhm.
and I also run AET, which I don't think, it was very hard trying to compile a list for y'all of everything.
Well, and
AET.
again, we're it's not gonna be perfect. We're gonna go back over this again next year.
Absolutely.
And refine, because again, it falls right back into the staffing. We have other staff in here who can take off some of the stuff that you do also, possibly, to give you a little more breadth, because I know it's a lot of things. But it just kind of keeps going back to the whole records management thing,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So what I did, I probably saw that, but I don't know if I brought that. I had to go back with the one that I see where things are
This is the one
specifically highlighted.
she's talking about.
Yeah, okay, good. So,
I just went through and I touched everything
So-
that I deal with.
so, yeah, so
Right
this.
here? Is this the same thing
Yeah,
as
that's
this?
the same
Okay,
So this
cool.
is the
Thank you.
actual verbatim from the charter?
Mm-hmm.
Not from the charter so this is what I came up with. I sent it to Rich and he made sure that any of these items matched the charter.
Right,
that there was
right.
nothing
So
on
it's
here
the
that
same
doesn't
thing
agree.
as this?
Yes, it's the
Got
exact
it.
same thing. However,
Okay.
I just sent this to him as a list of items that I'm currently doing, and I didn't know if it would be helpful to y'all to see what I'm physically actually doing on a daily basis or weekly basis.
Okay.
That's all that is, so you guys know what I'm.
That's what
doing.
this is?
Yes, ma'am, those are functions that I'm currently
Okay,
doing.
okay, so, and that's great, but he told me to follow the charter.
No, and that's fine.
So to me, we have to follow this document.
Right, Miss Thompson was just asking what it was.
Yeah, because I was just trying to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, and I want to be on the same page with you too.
Yeah, so I'm trying to go by this, and I'm just looking at it, clerk role, and that's all that really plays into it. As we'll have another meeting on this, the next meeting. I think at that point, we'll have a job description, and then we can fine tune the details. But I think we want to make sure we capture what's in the charter first.
Absolutely.
And then, and like I say, I've already identified what was missing, and make sure that those are included in the job description that we reformulate, okay? Because it's either for you or future clerks, whatever, is the way we have to look at it. So so it's not applicable based on Clay County, qualifying for council or mayor seat fees. That really kind of is us having to go to this
That's Clay
thing.
County, yeah.
That's Clay County, you don't
That's
have
Clay
to do
County.
any of that.
We don't have to worry about
And that's
any
what I
of that.
had, I think I had not applicable. Election inspectors, that's Clay County too.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
We really do have minimal to do other than me verifying.
Yeah,
that
they
the
take
map
care of
is
it,
good.
yeah.
Canvass of returns by city council as board of canvassers, and it's something to do with the
That's
elections.
Clay County too.
Yeah, okay, got it. Enforcement procedure, has to do with code inspector fines. So yes, you are code enforcement, level 2, and Matt is level 1. And so so that is included in your job, and it's also in your, I think your contract too, right?
Yes, but it's also that I'm not having employment, so that, or employees, however, that's been a thing with the city manager. He said I should technically be over that, but he's not comfortable with that unless he is overseeing.
Okay, so here's how this will work. He reports to Charlie, which he will continue. You two have shared duties essentially. He is, I look at it as you all being a team. Just because you're in a separate thing doesn't mean you can't be team and share duties with other employees in the building. So he works for him, and he's level 1, and I would say that, you know, you're in charge of kind of like, you got the other additional licensures, say creating SOPs for people to follow, and probably travel with him, like an afternoon, one day out of the month, just to get in the field so you can see what really happens, you know, versus being behind the desk.
Right.
I think it's kind of a reality thing, to learn. You learn more out in the field, and maybe it'll give you some, it'll spur some ideas to you, like, oh, we ought to do this or whatever, because you've had some extended trainings. So that's, to me, how that role should work.
Okay.
Yes, he still reports to Charlie, but, you know, you two can work together. It's a
No,
shared
that's
duty.
fine. It's just, I don't know how to,
No.
you know, how you explain it, how
Just say,
this
hey,
role should
bring him
work.
in, and, you know, and you have to have Charlie sitting there and say, here's how I want to try to do this,
And I
and,
wasn't even sure what council's view was, if I was to be code enforcement certified, to be back up, or if something had to go to Clay County. I wasn't sure what the view was on that. If I was only supposed to be the administrative side or side, after not side,
Mhm.
or if I was supposed to be in the field. I wasn't sure if I was meant just if you go to, what am I trying to say? Court, not court, it's not court, you know, if you go to trial or whatever it is for that. I wasn't sure what my purpose was.
If there's a lawsuit, then, you know, would you be involved in it? Let me ask a question about this. So he does the code enforcement,
Yes, ma'am, but we are.
and he's always been.
We are a reactive rather than proactive.
Right.
We don't do anything unless it's reported.
unless
Correct.
somebody makes a complaint.
Correct. Now, I would think, and I know you're certified in code enforcement, but I would think you would be the administrative part of that, and
She
nothing,
is.
and nothing more.
She is, but I think to be related to the role, I think because it is a field role, that the administrator should be in the field with them one day a month, an afternoon, a couple hours.
That's not a
Not even a
problem.
full day.
That's not a problem.
Because I think it makes it a more realistic role, so you can relate more to, you know, things that are happening, and maybe you see areas of fine tuning for procedures and protocols or whatever.
I don't mind making that a one day a month. It's not much of an ask.
Just like he should see what you do with it.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's kind of a shared kind of situation.
No, it's just I never understood what that role would look like, and that definitely clarifies.
Well, you weren't hired to be code enforcement.
No, but it was in her contract.
Well, I know, I saw
And
it.
so, you know, I'm trying to go based on the charter,
Absolutely.
which it's in the charter. And because the charter was used to create the the contract, is what he
Yes.
told me.
Yeah, the contract and the charter match
They're
very
pretty
well.
close, yeah.
It's just the job description.
And there's just, like you said, the miscellaneous things that fall under that 26B. Okay, moving along here. Clerk is a billing agent. That is a no.
I don't, well, outside of VTRs currently, I'm
Yeah,
not billing
that's,
anybody.
that's in the charter, so I say no to that. Responsible for billing collection, no, because we don't have any of that.
We really don't.
Billing collection, user fees, no. We don't have utility company and none of that kind of stuff. So next, really gets, so you can see the charter is really limited to what, because the rest of it's a city manager.
Absolutely.
The rest of this is city manager
Mhm.
stuff, which I will take that piece, compare it to his contract and the job description to do the same analysis here. So we kind of really know, what do we need to take out, what do we need to add? So you can see, to me, like, clearly, like, the confusion, right, which I apologize.
No, no.
I wish we had known this last year, when we were trying to do all this.
In all fairness,
Good
Nina,
Lord.
you and I both came on council very, well, you came after me. But in all fairness, we never had, Lynn was everything, and we never had to do this. We never had to
You're right.
to go back and look at the different jobs and who did what,
Right.
because she did everything.
Right.
So, I mean, in all fairness to Stephanie and to you and I,
Yeah.
this is all new to us.
I know, and that's why, so you know what, I look at this, y'all, I look at it as an opportunity to have a better society with everything.
And
You
have
gotta remember-
boundaries to each
And have
job.
boundaries,
Mhm.
you know, you gotta remember, we didn't have much staffing here, we had a revolving door, and now I understand a lot of the reasons why all that happened. And so, it comes right back to council, I hold us accountable for not being more curious and more involved. And we should have been more involved, but we thought everything was fine. We didn't know. So I think today and moving forward, that's what we do. We try to do it the right way, protect our employees, make sure that they're, you know, doing what they think they're supposed to be doing, and give them the focus, not only for current what they can do, and for growth opportunity. And this is a growth opportunity for all of us, really.
Mhm.
I mean, HR is certainly one of the last things I wanted to do as a mayor, I can tell you that right now. I've had plenty of people I've had to have work for me, and it's not a fun thing when you gotta go through these types of things.
I
So,
apologize, I'm trying to follow along, did we get it? I know we did the city council meetings and the code enforcement, did we already agree on the stuff in between? Were we
Oh.
following this list or am I?
so I went through
Oh,
this
you got it. Okay.
charter,
I
is what I
understand
went
now.
through. And as you can see, as I identified in my little reference here, as far as the charter goes, for the 12 things that I found in your contract, very specific things in your contract, you can see here, if it's not specific for this section,
Then it's not present, okay.
no, it is present. It's in section 26B. So,
Okay.
so the whole thing is, 26B covers miscellaneous,
Miscellaneous.
right? And so if you go through this list, and I'll show you some things that we're going to take out of this, that I think we should take out of this list before we even go back to the job
Sorry to
description.
interrupt, I apologize, I didn't realize you were going straight from the charter. and
I'm going
just
straight from the
checking off
charter.
this. Okay.
Yep.
Not a problem, my apologies.
Because like I said, this is what he said has to drive the job description. So we're kind of starting a new slate in a way. Now, to me, here's what I have on the responsibilities for attending meetings as clerk and city hall staff. Minutes, agendas, et cetera, clerk. CRA manager falls under the city manager. Planning and zoning, clerk. City of Keystone Heights website, city manager. He's got it contracted out. I know you're working some with him, but it's primarily his responsibility. Social media, city manager and staff. Code enforcement, you've already gotten certified, which is great, and I think a shared duty and working closer with Matt, just so he feels and Matt's a wonderful guy.
He
you
is
know.
fantastic.
Yeah, and y'all will be great. And then boards and commission, that's you and the city staff, or all city hall staff. Permits,
Now, with the permits, Mr. Van Zandt will assign that to Bo Wright. And he does a fantastic job, he's been doing it, I'm willing to take that, but
permits, is that not the same as the licenses?
no, they're two separate
Oh,
functions.
okay, I'll take
However,
that
that's
off.
why I was confused as to how BTRs fall under this, because permits is also under iWork, so, yeah.
Okay.
Is he responsible, is Bo responsible for the BTRs?
We don't know who, that's part of the confusion, because nobody knew who did
I think it should be you, because that's what I see on my references, because it's documentation and records.
Right, I know the notices and such should be on me, but should the payment portions be on me? That's half of it.
Well, the payment goes back to Tiffany, right?
Only through QuickBooks, she would have to learn how to do iWorks to report payments in there.
Okay.
And Bo knows how to do iWorks?
He's also learning
He's
with me, we're
learning, yeah.
both doing, we're
So
both-
he was helping you out, I think, right?
Well, he's the one that brought it to my attention, so I don't know how it got to me, but he asked me for help, and so I said, okay, and that's how I ended up with BTRs.
Yeah, so I think permits is in the charter.
I just wanted to.
Permits is in the charter under clerk.
Yes, and I don't
Currently.
mind, I just wanted you guys to know that Bo Wright currently does that, so it would have to be pulled from him.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
And
What's
then-
that-
yeah,
what's
and
that
I just don't
prob-
want him
what-
to think he's doing a poor job or anything, he does a fantastic job.
What is that, how does that go?
So
How do
when
you
people
do?
want to do a shed, driveway, building permit, land use change, anything, they have to apply for a permit. It goes through our system through iWorks, then you have to give that to Kenny Hall or somebody, they have to go measure the offsetting, things like that.
That
make sure
sounds
it
like
falls
Bo,
within-
to me.
Does
That
it
sounds-
have anything to do with planning and zoning
It
at all?
can.
Yeah, that's what I was
It
wondering.
can.
Yeah.
So all of it, all of it can have stuff to do with it.
So let's leave that kind of to talk about and think, and see what the best person, so I'm gonna put here slash.
I mean, a permit is a record, and you have to keep it, so I mean, in my mind, that would be the last final portion of that job. Once it's gotten and
And you'll both have to
recorded?
pardon my
Yeah,
ignorance on
right.
permitting and BTRs. This is my first time ever having.
Well, I don't know anything about
No,
it,
we
that's
know
why I'm
that. We know
asking
that.
you.
I mean, we
I
know
don't
that
do
it's once
this.
a year, September,
Yeah.
so, you know.
I think it, yeah.
So it's just something, so I'll put the permits as to be discussed.
Not that I won't do it, I don't want both of you that was pulled from
No, and if he's doing it now and doing a good job, I mean, I see no reason except for the records part of it.
Yeah, and the records part,
Yeah,
that you could
but
manage
that's-
that part of it. So we'll talk about that
Not a
further.
problem, I just wanted to be
Yeah.
upfront.
SOP, which I know you've already been working on. renewals, licenses,
Those went out on 8/15 without a hitch, and then I ended up, because we've had such a problem with getting business responses, I sent a second notice on the
Mhm.
30th of September, and then everybody will have until the 31st of this month to pay their fees without getting an additional fine. Outside of that, on the 1st of November, I'm canceling all remaining licenses.
okay.
So there is a plan to get it cleaned up, it's just.
Okay, great. So let's see here. So when I put down the goal today was to review and identify, so we've done that. I think, you can see the discrepancies, and I think we have a good idea of what's involved. I think there's more, but that's definitely what was in the charter. And then we go to the job description, and we want to remove the things that we know that you would not do. So I think one is good. Do you have a copy of job description, Chris?
I didn't bring one
The
with me.
pink, the one I got pink highlight over,
Oh,
that is
okay,
a
right
copy,
here.
but don't look at my highlights, just listen to
Is
the
that,
number.
is that the verbatim copy? Because this is my copy. I know I have that copy too. I just want to make sure they match. 13, what does 13 say?
Well, this
Maintain
is way
official-
smaller font, so.
I might have an extra one, Chris, it's bigger writing.
Well, she gave you one right there. Right? The
Yeah,
pink?
I know, but I've been using this one because this is where I took my notes.
13, I have maintained the official record of ordinance.
So it's the same thing. Okay, good. It's just smaller font.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so 1 is good, I think. 2 is good. 3 is good. 4 is good. 5 is good.
Now, with 5, I was a little confused about that. Whose goals, objectives, policies, and I do.
That's
have-
your SOP.
Okay, those are SOPs, okay, sorry. I
That's
just didn't
for your
understand.
department.
Not a problem.
Mhm.
But no more notation here.
So 6, coordinate the functions of city clerk's office, city manager, city attorney, and council departments and other public entities and citizens groups to provide information services as required. I think that tends to be, I don't know that that's something you need to worry about,
I wasn't
honestly.
exactly sure what you.
I'm not exactly
Yeah,
sure.
it sounds
I think
like
this
you
goes to the city
organize
manager.
everything.
Yeah, I think this is something under the city manager
Yeah.
that could be added to his, and he can delegate that. The next, planning in the municipal elections, yes. Coordinate city boards commission program, not limited to tracking term expirations, which right now you support Heritage Commission and the zoning committee.
And keep all of council, well, what it is Florida Ethics Commission. I'm your Florida Ethics Coordinator, so I keep track of all of our reporting boards, term dates, when you guys resign, when you people come on. I think that's
Gotcha.
what that is.
Okay, so yeah, I figured you were doing, I had that as a yes. Receive and track public records requests and coordinate responses, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so this, plan, develop, implement citywide document records management and system for retrieval, systematic retention, transfer, retirement, or disposal of records in all city departments. We just have really one department. Establish and maintain records and management procedures, ensure compliance with a wide variety of laws pertaining to public records. So I know that's the 15 bins you're talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
This is an opportunity for you to make a humongous difference because it's extremely disorganized.
Absolutely.
And when someone was here for so long, it was easy for them to figure out what things were because they're the ones that was their filing system. So this would be something that will become, to me, 50% of your job,
Absolutely.
to get it up to date.
Currently, I'm waiting on, I know Mr. Van Zandt has hired Marjorie Colette to get the file room in order. Once her and Ms. Whitney figure out how they would like to retain their records, I'll be able to work from there to
And
get
then
everything
get it
else
clear,
back
yeah.
up. So my plan is to give them an additional 30 to 60 days to get settled.
Yeah.
Because it's a new thing.
Yeah.
And then I'll be able to clean house. And my goal is by June of next year to have it completely good and be able to do our first cubic feet construction.
Yeah.
Which has to be reported to the
Right.
state.
Is
I'm
this-
just terrified to get rid of anything.
This is a huge.
Yeah, this has
project.
not been done
No.
in
Since the
many,
70s.
many
Like
years.
probably.
I don't think it's ever been done.
Yeah, this is a huge, huge piece to focus on for sure. Okay, next, monitor, maintain current knowledge of developments related to city clerk matters, evaluate upon impact upon city operations, recommend, implement procedural, I think you already do all this kind of stuff. Update conflict of interest code policy procedures. That doesn't probably happen very often.
I've not had to do that.
Manage the advertisement of legal notices.
So Bo does a lot of our legal notices as well, just
So
so
to
you
me,
guys
that's,
have clarification.
Yes, I'm gonna say that's a no for you,
I
right?
don't mind keeping when the legal, if he wants to continue to do that, all I need is a copy of the legal notice, so I have it as backup, that's,
Because of it being a record.
right.
That's fine.
my main function.
And you
I
may
can
come
create
up
a
with those
folder.
things, you know, that they are involved in, and they just give you the documentation, and
fine.
it's a file thing.
Yes.
I have a question about 10 before we proceed.
Sure, at 10? Yeah.
Yeah, do you need help doing this?
I don't know yet, I will be able to have a better.
Because, I mean, it's never been done, so
It has
that's a
not been
lot of,
done.
It's a lot, it's a lot.
But once I figure out how fiscal wants to do their filing and what their process is.
Maybe you could work
because Marjorie
together?
Collette has been doing it for years. So I'm going to trust that when they isolate, or when they identify how they want to do it, she's gonna show me, and then I'm gonna build backwards from there. I'm gonna try to do it on my own. However, if I realize within that first 7 days that
Yeah.
I can't,
yeah.
council will be notified.
And you know, you don't want to take it in like, okay, 15 minutes, I got to do this. You take
A piece
one.
at a time.
You take a piece of, and I would start with the most recent stuff
Right,
and go backwards.
currently, right here in your building, you only have the last 5 fiscal years, and they all organized, so you can go in there, it's not like it's a disarray.
Okay, good.
That's good.
Everything
That's good to know.
is there.
Okay.
And then the only things that are not on site, and I apologize, I know you want to get out here too, are the 1970s to 2017. So everything that is here is in order, current, everything.
That's good.
They're all in fire stick bins. You can see I have the Florida statute on the outside.
That's
Yeah,
good.
Those have to be.
I didn't know. So you
I've
said
been
they're,
working on it
they're,
for quite some time.
they're-
So what, they have to actually destroy those records
Yes, ma'am, and
that are
that's,
old?
so it depends.
So we're doing-
Cemetery documents last a lifetime. Contracts are generally 10 years, some can be a lifetime as well. Your general building documentation.
Are they sorted that way?
Yes. They're
Okay.
all sorted that way.
Great.
I will be glad to show you guys the file room at any time. You also have what you call general billing, and I do 5+7. You generally keep them 5 years. I add an additional 2 because you never know what's going to happen. So I
Okay.
don't destroy anything until it meets that 7 year
Right.
mark.
Okay,
My plan is to have that big destruction by the end of next year, when I'm confident that the inventory has been done and that we've had a full year of good records, and I want to get through an audit, a successful, not that our audit wasn't successful, but we had missing documents. And I
Right.
want that
Yes.
corrected before I'll be comfortable
Right.
destroying
yes, and we
anything.
want a good
That is
audit.
the
Absolutely,
holdup. That
yeah.
is why I'm not moving forward.
So I
Right.
think, I mean,
Okay.
that's great, Stephanie, that we got 5 years. And then honestly, to me, when there's something that's that mammoth like that, the way I've always looked at it, is start small to where it's manageable in your routine workflow. And, you know, get that part done before you go to have a plan.
Now, I do need to let you guys know, Wendy Harris was a huge part in helping get those 15 codes done. She helped type itineraries and what was in them, she helped organize them, so it was not a one-woman show.
And I was gonna ask you,
Miss
please let us
Wendy,
know
we
if
spent
you
2 to
need
3
help with
weeks
this.
Yeah.
You know,
on
if
this.
you get in, if you know you're,
I think it was in March and April, right
Yeah.
before she
Yeah.
had stuff happen.
Right.
So, there are people willing, like you said, but
Mhm.
if it's something that I can do one piece at a time and not,
Yeah.
steal his stuff, I'm gonna try that first.
Yeah.
well, just let us know if you do need help, so.
Absolutely, but I don't want you
That's
guys
all
to
I'm
think that I
asking.
haven't been touching records.
No, that's good to know that.
Absolutely, you can
That's
go
good
in there
to
and
know.
find whatever you need.
Okay, 13 is manage official record ordinance resolutions. I have that as a yes. Maintain all records concerning appointments and memberships to city boards. I have that as a yes. Items 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, I have as a no. These are
Yeah, I
all-
agree with that.
Those are totally a no. Those go into city manager. Those will be added to the city manager position.
Now, number 25.
You said 17 through 24?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, 17 through
Okay.
24, correct.
Somebody's gonna have to explain to me, and I apologize for my ignorance, what exactly are the liability insurances for the city? Is that big lump packet we get once a year?
So, Stephanie, I don't even know, I have that as a question mark.
Which one
I
is
also
that?
Number
have it.
25, about the liability policy for insurance.
I'm sure that would be under, that would definitely be under the city
I would think this has to
manager.
go to a city manager. I
Yeah.
think.
I just wanted to put that out there.
'Cause
I had
that's-
no
And he
idea
can
what it
delegate
means.
that if he needs to, because that's
Mhm.
he's got staff, he can delegate things to, additional roles if he decides. But I think that's kind of that's a city manager thing. And then special studies on related duties as required, which you've already been doing some of that stuff. So really, what I want to do for our next meeting is I will go back and make sure, flush out like what we talked about here, and make sure that all of the charter stuff is definitely outlined in the job description, based on that section 3.2, 3.5, whatever, how it's written. Make sure it matches, and then relate it into the job description. Because here you can see here, charter section 3.3, see where they did that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, because you want to add all of it in there. But I would flush it out and then remove these items here. And again, those will be added to city manager when we get ready to look at his. And he's got some things I'll probably take out as well. But for the most part, I think that's where I am with this, you know?
Okay.
And I think we're legally following the process, right?
How do you feel about it?
What you guys presented is fairly exact to my highlights on my
Yeah.
list, so it's nothing that I didn't ask for. There's just some things I don't want anybody to think that I don't want to do BTRs. I just need clarification on how we can separate the money from the noticing portion. Same thing with what I said, Bo was doing the permits. I don't mind learning it, but if that's something he wants to, you'll let me know and I'll be glad to do it.
Right.
That's.
Yeah, I just think,
Well, we have more staff here now. We have full-time staff
we
here
do, but
now.
we're still going to have shared duties
Absolutely.
in this building with the different things that you touch.
Absolutely.
And it is just what it is. We're not that big, and it can't be that complicated.
No.
So, it's a matter of figuring it out, a process, and what works right. But anything that's records, I think, has to come
Oh,
back into your bank.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with
and just
that.
keeping it see, that's been some of the challenge, I think, we haven't had a lot of consistency.
Absolutely.
And so I think if we can nail that down, I think there's gonna be a lot of improvements, I think, with workflow and everything.
I think so. I think our.
And, you're still learning a lot of stuff,
Oh, yeah.
and, when
I'm
you.
only 10 months in.
Right, so you came in to this to develop skills that you didn't have, and that's that's the learning curve. And a lot of us like deer in headlights, but you're gonna be a year from now thinking, wow, I really learned a lot this year,
Oh, yeah,
And, it's just a matter of being open to figure out how you balance it, how do you figure out how you get this all done. And it is a role that is an independent role. And so it is a white collar, independent role that has a lot of requirements, and you just gotta figure out how you manage it. And I do think you can get some support, but I think for the most part, it falls into your
That
court.
is also another thing I can bring up to the employment committee. I'm not a 24/7 employee. I'm scheduled for 40 hours a week. However, we had an incident on Friday night, I'm embarrassed. Nobody answered their emergency contact number, and somebody was locked in our bathroom.
Our bathroom where?
What?
The vacuum.
The bathroom where?
How
Out
bad?
back. So what had happened is somebody.
Where's our bathroom? You mean in the park?
There's a bathroom
There's
right
two
there,
bathrooms back there, behind the kitchen.
right out back.
Oh, outside?
What had happened.
Oh, I didn't know there was one
and
outside.
This is, it's no big, I mean, it is, but it isn't. It was a gentleman, somebody had left the lock open, so it caught, so he was able to go in, to use the bathroom, and 30 seconds later, he couldn't get back out. So nobody answered their phone, so I got knocking at my door at 7:30 at night to come here to help the police. I'm not a 24/7, I don't get accommodated for that, I don't.
That should have been the city manager.
I just, if that needs to be added to, I just wanna, if that's something that I need to do, because I
No.
get ADT calls and stuff like that consistently, at least once a week. I need to be added, I
Well,
need that added.
so first of all, no. So
No.
I'm trying to see here, and,
There's nothing in there about that.
So
That's
there-
a city manager thing.
well, so yeah, that is primarily, it goes to him first, okay, is the way it should be. But I do believe that it is a availability 24/7. It's not 40 hours in the contract. That's-
No, it's not. No, but
So show me where it says
it does
that.
not specify in her contract that she's
Well-
24/7, only Charlie's.
So, yeah, I saw
She's
it
a
somewhere.
salaried employee,
And I,
correct?
and I don't mind, it's just I felt very embarrassed that I didn't have my, I wasn't listening on a Friday night for my phone to ring to be a first contact for good service.
No, I don't, I totally think that that's a city manager.
Yeah, I agree
That's what we
with
have a
that.
city manager for.
And I'm
And,
not.
and if he can't do it, then he needs to call somebody
No,
else who's
It was no big
available.
deal, but I was embarrassed because there are 4 of us on that list.
Well, you shouldn't be on that list.
And it didn't get answered, and.
Okay, I see the 40 hours now, so maybe I'm thinking about his thing.
You're thinking that.
Okay, so, yeah, so that, so you said the police had to come and,
Yes, ma'am, and luckily it was a local, and it wasn't his fault, poor thing, when we got him out of there, he was apologizing, I felt bad for his foot, because he tried to kick his way out, luckily somebody heard him, called the police. He was only in there for about 30 minutes,
So why were they are they unlocked all the time?
No. So what had happened is, I'm guessing somebody, I don't know, somebody who's around, did the deadbolt thing.
Oh.
So when it closed, it would close, and whoever, the person that went back in the restroom, they didn't know that the locks were automatic. So they
Oh.
went in there and shut the door and then couldn't get back
That's
out.
really weird.
And then the magnet on the inside, there's a sensor that you're supposed to. So.
That's crazy.
And so again, it's not a complaint, it's just, that's not in my contract, and this is not the
No,
first
and that's
time,
not- that's-
And I don't get paid for those things.
Okay.
What do you mean you get called for ADT?
Like, when so
Please.
our officers
Just-
set it off at least twice a week, CCS.
Okay.
So,
Oh, for security?
yeah, in the middle of the night, so my phone will start going, la, 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 and if I don't turn it off, the building off in the middle of the night, ADT will call me multiple times.
That's
and tell
not
me
your
to
job
answer it.
either, Stephanie. That's not your job either.
I know, but it was
That's
given to me
another
when
city
when
manager
I got
thing.
here, and I do it.
That's a city manager.
And again, it's not a complaint, it's just I don't get paid for those things, and I don't charge you guys for for overtime, because I'm contractual.
Security. So those are both security issues.
Yes, these are all,
Okay.
And again, it's not a complaint, it's just if I'm gonna do those things, I would like to compensate for them.
Well,
know-
to me, if you do that, then you leave an hour early the next day or whatever, because you're supposed to be here 40 hours a week.
well,
in
you
the
know,
building.
we've got people though. We've got people,
No.
he's got Bo and Bo's local. He needs to call, if Charlie can't come, then he can call Bo. He's
I
got
don't-
plenty of other people.
I don't
He's got
disagree.
a whole
And-
staff
And
underneath
it's
him.
just something that I don't mind, I just,
He has to make the decision on who should go
Yes,
do it.
he
And then
manages the
if
city.
if that's them and they have a 40-hour week or whatever, then they can be compensated for that time. Like,
Mhm.
you get time off
I
the next
totally
day
agree
or
with that.
whatever way.
And
it is.
that's fine, I haven't, I've been doing it for 10 months, but, like I said, on Friday, I was impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt that, and they were probably 5 minutes from breaking our door off the engines to get this gentleman. out.
Yeah, we can.
And, yeah.
But yeah, those kind of things need to go to Charlie,
Yeah.
period.
I agree. And again, it's not to stir anything, that's the intention.
And then he's got to,
It's
he's
okay.
got to
We got it
ask for, he's
straight.
got to figure out who his backup is in that case.
Yeah, because he's
And
got
if they
plenty of
come
other
in,
people to call.
then
You
they
don't
can
have anybody.
They can be, take off earlier
And
and
then,
let him manage that.
We did finish, keep in mind the time, 7 minutes. With the social media stuff, we are having, generally I do all that, I do not mind transferring it all to Bell. However, we are having trouble, we already started trying to get her access today. Facebook, whoever owns Facebook, we can't create accounts without a cell phone.
Oh,
So I think Miss Bell will end up needing her own phone for event coordinator in order to do that.
that's
For-
going to have to go to Charlie
Right,
to do
for
that.
now, she has my access, I've just given her everything, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be public anyway, it
Right.
doesn't really matter who posts it to me.
Yeah.
But in the future, that'll have to be something, if she's taking social media, she'll need a phone number to do that with.
Well,
Okay.
then she should be updating the Keystone Heights commercial that plays in the lobby too.
And that's fine with me as well, I don't care.
This should
It's
be
a
her.
It's kind of a fun thing to do.
Well, I hadn't even looked at that list. Like I said, I went through the basics
Okay.
of, and now that he's got staffing, some of these other things are gonna fall to them, which I think he's already identified as shared duties anyway, because I think she probably also does some of that stuff too, because she's involved in the event stuff,
Yes.
plannings and stuff. So
Right.
I think there's things that you guys touch on different times,
Mm-hmm.
and I think for consistency, it's just better to have one person
I-
that does it. So, and I understand some of that is shared duties, so.
And I don't mind at all. And everything that's in my additional duties that I had questions about, you guys also had questions about. So it was the business tax receipts, the
Yeah,
commercial and the human resources, which you guys have all covered.
yeah.
It's just under additional duties that I have done, but I wasn't sure if those, again, it just,
So is there anything else
no.
that you can think of right
Not that
now?
I can think of, like I said, everything that is on my list,
Mm-hmm,
you guys have covered via the charter.
okay.
Which is fantastic, and then anything that currently somebody else is doing, I've made you guys aware of, so it's not an issue, and it can be routed how you guys see fit.
Mhm.
And then I've made you guys aware of my late night interruptions.
Yeah.
That is all for me. I don't mind being a point of contact, I just,
Well, that's just got to be his decision, because he's over that, he's over the building.
It's just been a
So
long-
that, that's falls
You know,
into
when
his
you
bank.
manage, when you manage a building, then that's your job.
That, yeah, that's the first person it goes to, and then he's got to delegate it
That's
based on
right.
what he wants
If
to do.
he can't do it, then he
So-
can
For me,
find
I was
someone
just-
else
yeah,
that can.
Just wanted clarification that I didn't
Yeah.
have that happen.
Okay, so to be clear, if you need help with the records,
If I need help with the
You'll let us
records,
know.
I will let you guys know within that first week when I
Okay.
start attempting it. I do not foresee me starting to touch records
Mhm.
outside of just keeping stuff organized within the next 60 days to let Miss Tiffany and Miss Marjorie Colette develop the system they want to use.
okay,
Then I'm gonna let them teach me how they wanna do it, and I'll piggyback off of their system to develop mine, so
Okay.
everybody's on the same page within the city.
Okay.
I would hate to have two separate thought plans, and it's something
Yeah.
like the Madam Mayor has said, I want it to be survivable in 10 years, whoever is here, even if I'm not, I want them to be able to pick up what we created,
Well,
and just be able to move forward.
the SOP should,
Yes.
is very important.
And that's something I would.
And these are things I'm asking Charlie to do too, is to have an SOP for
For
everything
everything.
that goes on in this building.
Right.
Yeah.
Whoever's doing it, we want them to create some kind of a reference for if that person's not here. Because you will have people that move on and
Right.
do things. And so I think at least it's something that somebody has to take off on versus
Mhm.
absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
And
I
that
used
really
to
is
write
a,
'em.
so
I used
it's
to
a
write
lack.
SOPs.
Oh, yeah, I've written a ton of them. I just feel like it's a responsibility of that person in that role, and shame on anybody who did not do that in the past. As a professional, that's like one of the first things you do.
Absolutely.
And, I find it surprising.
We've got quite a few, and you guys will have a phenomenal.
Well, we're
business
basically
process
starting
every
from scratch
month or
here.
so.
We are, I mean.
We
it's
started from
kinda like,
scratch with
you know,
having a clerk all of a sudden, when we never had one before, and
Right.
so,
Yeah.
and no,
I
I'm
mean, we've come
glad
a long way. I think we've come a long way. I think there's been a ton of improvements. I've seen a ton of improvements. And, the whole website thing,
Mhm.
huge
Isn't
improvement.
it great? So
Huge.
hopefully by
Mhm.
the end of next week, we'll have that thing to Agenda Plus where everything will be back to its beautiful state.
Yeah.
It's just we're running on a few, I call them HTML problems.
Yeah.
Where the sites aren't wanting to communicate
Anytime you're
with each
doing
other.
stuff like that, it gets kind of a little hairy, I think.
Yeah, it's a little, but it's gonna be good, and hopefully, I'm hoping we'll be able to use Agenda Plus for the meeting, but I'm not 100% hopefully.
See how it
Is there a
goes.
sign on those bathrooms out there that says they are locked after a certain time?
No, but it's nice to say that.
I really think that would be helpful for people. I mean.
Our signage needs to be improved in our town.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
That's on my list for the Lawrence Streetscape. I want new signage. I want things so people have a little more clarity on where things are.
I'll make paper signs for now. Do you want me to put that on the November agenda on metal sign spot, or are we okay with paper?
No, because they'll rip them off, and it gets wet under that overhang out there.
Because we can rivet, if we do the metal signs, I don't know what it's called, but you can rivet it into the actual door.
I
Yeah,
think
it
it's
needs to be
probably a
permanent, 'cause
good
otherwise
idea.
it would just
Yeah,
be-
because
I'll put
it'll
it
just
on the
get trashed in the
agenda for
weather.
you guys to vote on in
Yeah.
November.
So next, I know we got that strategic thing next week. So our next workshop, when do you want to try to do that? So the next one, I'll go through, and if you're willing to do it as well, but I'll go through and revise the old job description and make it.
I don't have it, well, I have my work computer, I don't have any printer, I don't have any setup at home. I mean, we can go through it together at the next workshop.
Well, I'm saying at the next workshop, we just have to agree, like, I'll
Yeah.
come back with a revised one, and we
Yeah.
just check it off and agree, we're good to go.
Good to go.
Right?
That sounds awesome.
And then that next step will be to create your performance review and the documentation for that, and I'd already created a template to use.
Yeah, it was on my
uh,
table, I left it at home, but yeah, we'll have
It's
to.
real simple, but I'll take it and reformulate it.
Yeah,
At some point, sometime before December, I'm sure, because, we're going to do the PA probably in January.
Mhm.
So I think we got to get that piece of it done once the job description's fixed.
Mhm.
And then plan to have a timeline for looking at doing the review, which Stephanie, you'd be able to weigh in on things even prior to us doing the grading. That's how it would work, I think. We'll figure out a protocol.
I can't even get the word out. Three
Amicable?
syllables, to whatever you guys decide.
Yeah,
I
we'll
just
figure it out.
appreciate you guys taking into consideration whatever the market is. October 28th through the 31st is that second week. There is voting in here, so
Right,
whatever we
so if
do,
you
it would have to be
pavilion,
in the
which is
pavilion.
fine.
Would you guys like me to send you some times that are available in
Do
the
that.
pavilion?
Yeah, and we'll plan it from there. Yeah, I knew it had to be in the pavilion, which I'm okay with too.
Not a problem. I'll get those out to you guys in the next hour.
Okay, and we'll just do the
Are you
same-
sure?
Absolutely.
So the thing, Chris, the next one then would be and maybe we can make it an hour and a half, 2 hours max, but we go through and agree on the job description, take a quick look at a PA formatting or whatever. I want to keep it really simple. And also, then go over the city manager one, and again, go through the same process. I'll do the same spreadsheet, which I think was really helpful, because it's so crazy. You're starting to read all this stuff, and you're going to go nuts. So I think, to be able to do that, and then we know that we're covered, because it says that section 226A, for example. So I'll do the very same thing with city manager prior to the next one. So we'll be able to do all of this and agree to yours.
Yes.
And then we basically just got to have one more meeting to agree on the PA format and sign off on the city manager one. PA format for both of them,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll be done. We'll be
And
ready
with
to.
Mm-hmm.
With the city manager portion, are you guys wanting to do it the same way, where it's just you guys, and then exit the room, just
Do you
leave the
agree?
cameras running?
Yeah, that's probably
fine, and
best.
then somebody can just let me know when it's time to come in. I don't mind re-listening and doing the notes after the fact, that is completely
That's
just to
fine.
give him his privacy as
Sure,
well.
sure.
Yeah, it's fine. That's
Is this being recorded
It is,
Yeah.
on YouTube?
yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't know, I thought that was,
Absolutely, I
Just
just want to give
doing
him
the
the
minutes.
same thing.
okay.
So-
I want to steal a Hershey
So
bar.
I think we're good, right?
Thank you for the candy.
So this was productive, right?
I believe so, I think you
And it was
accomplished everything we
fast.
set out.
Good job, Mayor.
Well, I did my homework, let me tell you. Huh?
Do you mind adjourning for?
Okay. Adjourn. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it.
Are we off?
Yes, let me,